Hello everyone and welcome back to Run It Up number 81. We are here today playing some 50-cent $1 no limit Texas Hold'em on ultimatepoker.com. This is the very first hand. I was just sitting, minding my own business, and then a contender arrived. And here we are, playing the first hand. So I raised pre-flop, bet on the flop. Here we are now on the turn. Gonna decide to check back here against some people, but I bet, yeah, sure, some people. But I don't know this guy at all. So I think checking back makes a little bit more sense than betting. Now at this point, getting 3-1 here, I'm not really sure whether or not we should call or fold. We don't know our opponent at all. So I think given that it's the very first match, we beat ace highs, some straight draws. We lose here a lot, of course. But I'm interested to know what he has, and we find out something no matter what. And we win, I think, very close to the right amount of the time to be okay. So interesting that he had Jack 10 there, flat called pre-flop, which is just pretty much normal. And then on the flop, he just flat called, which he could be aggressive but wasn't. And then, yeah, so that's relatively. He played the hand relatively passively, so we're gonna look and see how this guy is gonna play in the future. So now the next time that there is a hand and I have to decide, well, is he more likely to be aggressive or passive, I'll be more likely to think he is passive. Anyway, enough with all the poker talk. I feel like it's been a while. Do you guys miss me or something? Like, I know it hasn't been a while in terms of like videos, but it's been a while since we've done a Run It Up. I think the last Run It Up we did was Thursday, trying to get some work done, trying to do some repair work here today, because we are down to 17-23. I lost 2 buy-ins at 1-2, but it happens. You know, you can't win every session. If I won every single session, guys like this wouldn't play us heads up now, would they? That's true. You're like, yeah, that's true, Jay Carver. You're right. Good point. That's right. This is my conceding victory rap I'm doing as you. That's right. That's what that was, in case you're not fully aware. So, actually, I had a lot of fun the last couple days, even though it's been interesting. Very not Christmassy. I've been told that it's Christmas season. I wouldn't know it, but apparently it is. But I've been my attention has been spent on EPT Prague, a tournament out in Prague, where I have a good friend and student of mine, Max Silver, who is currently in first place with 22 players remaining. Check this out. There's 30 million chips in play. He has 4 million with 22 left. That's pretty strong. Max was in my very first coaching group. We had a group coaching chat room called Jay Carverland. That's right. And we worked on poker stuff for years, like 5 days a week, and it was like a constant room of conversation. I'm gonna call here. We could definitely be beat, you know, but you know, I've got king 7. What am I supposed to do? Fold? I have king and 7. I can't fold. Let's be real. Definitely not folding now. Now we've got, I mean, you know, there's nothing he can do that would get me to fold. If he checks, we bet like some amount that a queen can't fold to, right? So let's say he has nothing. What do we want to bet against nothing? Doesn't matter. He's not calling. So all we have to do is bet, you know, and price out. We want to make sure that we price in hands like single queens. So I think something maybe like 30 might be a little much, actually. Maybe just like 25. Can't fold to 25. We'll never know whether or not I missed $5 here. Well, we'll know if he folds then. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't see how we fold getting 4-1, but obviously I'm concerned. What do you have? King Queen, exactly? I mean, King Queen would make sense. Deuces, I guess, also make sense, but let's see. Queen and Deuce, that's not good. All right. Boy, we got a little lucky there, didn't we? Yeah, we did. I mean, I actually don't mind his river check. It's really hard to say. The quality of his play is entirely based on what he thinks of us, and I have no idea what that is, so I'm not going to really guess as to what his correct play was. We defend here with Jack and 8. Off to the flop we go. So Max, there are a couple guys from that coaching group that still play, you know, semi-professionally or professionally. And actually one of them was Jake Balsiger's roommate, I think, or friend and roommate. So you know, they've had they've all had different degrees of success over the years, but Max has probably done the best out of everybody. And if he wins this, that will definitely be true. So I was watching the live stream yesterday from 3 in the morning when it started till about 11 in the morning when I passed out. And by the time you guys start seeing this, I will definitely be watching. So if you want to sweat EPT Live with me, eptlive.com. I'll be over facebook.com/jcarpoker. You can hang out. We can talk hands and stuff like that because I'll be up all night sweating that. So if you want to hang out, I'll probably be up till pretty late. Sweating that. Also, my friend Steven Chedwick, he's also in too. Two of my UK friends still in. So if you're a UK run-it-up warrior, I expect you to be there for country, if not run-it-up. You know. So we we raised to $3 here, raising a small call in a small raise. This doesn't get me to fold. You know. Am I concerned? Of course, I'm a little concerned, but I'm not concerned enough not to call for $4.50. You know. That's not exactly the flop we're hoping for with queen and jack. We do have a 3 straight. That's kind of cool. Got a pair draw. Got that elusive pair draw. At least it's a top pair draw. That's kind of neat. I think we just fold, though. All right, you got this one. How do you guys like my Fuel TV shirt, by the way? I was fucking loving it. I was just saying, I was just loving it. It's a memento from the Fox Sports day that I had last week. I realized that I didn't even tell you guys like all the cool Chael stories that I had from the day. So as time goes on, as they strike me, I'm excited to tell you guys some of the amazing stories I had meeting my idol Chael P. And actually, I don't think I told you guys a couple of stories. I've got some good stories in line for today. A lot of stuff has been happening in the last couple weeks. And tomorrow's run-it-up also will be very interesting. I just filmed that. That's right. 2 run-it-ups in a day. Out of order. I have an amazing guest tomorrow, the one and only King Dan Smith. That's right. Recently crowned champion of the World Poker Tour event here at Bellagio. Won $1.2 million. We're going to talk to Dan, find out what's going on and what's life like at the top. How heavy does the crown weigh? You know, all those things coming up tomorrow on Run It Up. Boy, this sounds so professional today. It's like a radio show up in here. Run It Up Radio. I don't have I do too much of this for radio, I think. You know, on radio you wouldn't even know what I was talking about. At least you can see. You can see here. So we're re-raising because we have 2 jacks in case you needed a breaking news alert. Hopefully this doesn't go 3-handed. Okay, well, that's a beautiful flop for the jack and the jack. So we're gonna bet here. But what are we gonna bet? I don't know, kids. What would you like me to bet? Very small. That's right. That's correct. 18 might even be too big. But, you know, it's fine. I don't want to bet like 14. The guy's got $100 behind. You know, 14, he doesn't make any mistakes against 14. I thought 18 was a little, maybe it was fine. Maybe it was still slightly too big. But yeah, we want to bet small there because we have the board so crushed. You know, we don't want them, we want them to stick around with hands that are destroyed, not fold. Get a min raise here with the king on the button. Can't fold a king. How are you supposed to fold a king on the button? Doesn't seem like a thing I'll be doing. Seems very familiar to me. If he has queen 5, this will seem very familiar. He checks. We bet. $3 seems fine. Could even bet a little bit less because he's so short stacked at this point. 250 seems aight. I've got some very cool things in the store. I've got things in store for regional things. This is the beginning of the regional things. You guys will see. My Las Vegas and Las Vegas visitor running up Warriors in the next week. Stay tuned. Some cool things happening exclusively for people that are in Vegas. That would be awesome. And sometime this weekend, you should try to keep your calendar flexible. Is all I'm saying. There may or may not be a cool opportunity for some Las Vegas running up warrioring. So here we bet twice. I'm really not too concerned. This guy doesn't have flushes that often. He just called flop and then called turn. What flushes is this guy supposed to have here? I'm not buying it. I mean, look, he could have a flush, of course. But it doesn't make any sense he has a queen, right? Why would he have queen 10 and play it this way? That makes no sense. So he's trying to tell me a story that he has a flush, but he doesn't have a flush often enough for us to lose money here. He has 7x, 5x, weirder things than that often enough that I don't think we can fold. We lose here, of course, sometimes, but not often enough. This is almost like a slow roll, it feels like, kind of, sort of, even though he turned out to have it this time. I was never considering folding there. I was just going through the talking. So I guess that makes sense that he had like a combo draw. He also had a gut shot to go with his flush draw on the turn. But I think we played it reasonably fine, and I think our logic on the river is aight. So, all right, there's that. Raising it up here with the 7-9 of hearts. Oh, yeah. Let's see a flop dealer. That's right. I got my Fuel TV shirt on. I'm not folding anything, bitch. I don't know how those things are necessarily correlated, but I'll leave that to you to connect the dots. Okay. This is going to be one of them tricky hands of poker. We're going to start with check. And not fold. That much we're not doing. Whether or not we call... I mean, I have a feeling we'll be calling. We'll probably be check calling and then making some decisions on turn cards. Could definitely be beat here, but I don't think... I've seen this guy around a couple times, but I haven't seen him often enough that I'm just going to fold a 9. How do we fold a 9 now? That seems crazy talk. Let's see a turn card dealer. So close to our region, but not quite there. Did turn ourselves a gut shot, so I guess that could have been worse. If our opponent bets here twice, I'll be concerned because, you know, he probably doesn't bet twice here with a hand like 10s. He probably checks back with that hand, which is not necessarily great for us. So now here we are on the river. Does he call with worse hands if we bet? That's what I'm thinking about. Does he fold worse hands if we bet? Does he call with worse or fold better? I don't think the answer to either of those is the one we want. So I think we just tank and check. And if our opponent bets, I mean, how do we not have it? I don't get it. I actually am considering just shoving. Let's do that. That seems awesome. I have a flush. Check raise all in. I don't love this by any means. Don't get me wrong. I don't love this. But I thought there's no way this guy has a flush here. He made a good call. I mean, I'm trying to get him to fold exactly that hand, and I wasn't going to call. I knew calling was bad, that's for sure. And the only way we had to win at that point was to either shove or fold. And I thought shoving would work often enough. It might. Just because he called doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't even work often enough. Didn't work this time, of course, but you know, what can you do? What can you do? You're all in. You just have to try. It didn't work out. You know, there's I like the play though. I think the play is fine. You know, against people that never fold there, I think it's fine, but because we've seen the guy before, I mean, it is a relatively credible way of how I would play a flush or even hand that was like, even I think I would very seriously consider doing that play with like king queen, which, you know, because it just doesn't seem he has ace king, although I guess he could have ace king and play it the same way. Every option is available to us here. I actually think I'm going to raise. I'm a little concerned that they might perceive us as tilting, even though obviously we don't care. We could be perceived as tilting and thus re-raising lighter, which would encourage them to attack us, but I think it's still fine. Ace-7 on the button. What are we supposed to do? Fold? Get out of here. Get out of here with your nitty decisions. I think $12 makes sense. So now we've had 2 river check raises all in. We're 0 for 2 so far, in case you're counting. In case you're trying to keep track of that. So I actually think I'm going to check back here. I very, very rarely do, but I find it very hard to imagine that this guy is going to call us twice with worse hands than an ace. Well, I'm all in if he bets. If he checks, we're betting like, I don't know. Well, they just saw us do this not that long ago. I think I'm just all in though, because if we raise to $30, he's not calling us with like any king high hand anyway, right? So I'd rather just shove, and if he has ace jack plus, maybe he'll call us. That sounds like a thing that could happen. I'm all in. Also, we're in for 160. All right. Profit land. Well, really good turn check back by us, at least. we at least got the money in good when we needed to. All right. Swingy session here on Fuel TV. Huh? Whatever you say, Jay Carver. Oh, I'm going to read some Dear Jay Carvers. I feel like I've missed you guys. I haven't done a Dear Jay Carver in so long. I feel like I'm jonesing on the love. But we were talking about Max Silver and them, and yeah, so I did a coaching group for like a year and a half where we talked to like the same 6 guys every single day, 5 days a week, sometimes more, and it was great. It was actually great to teach. It was great to learn. For me, it was obviously good for most of them. I think the combined earnings of that group, I actually don't want to, I don't know for sure because, who knows exactly, but certainly, I mean, Max alone has, I think, $1 million or something, and $1 million or $2 million in cashes, and the rest of the group has all done decently well at like small stakes cash, and a couple of them at tournaments also. But yeah, so he's playing that today. I'll be sweating that over on Facebook. I've also been doing some other cool things on Facebook. I've been reviewing your hands for the very first time. Facebook.com/JayCarverPoker. I've been doing something called Late Night Poker Lab, and I have a picture. I have a picture of that. I've been using it for Facebook. I can show you guys, but you should just find it on Facebook and see. So I've been doing this thing called Late Night Poker Lab, where I've been letting people post hands, and I've been putting my 2 cents in as to what I thought you should do or what I thought they had, that kind of thing. So if you're interested in that, Facebook.com/JayCarverPoker. I am whoring out the Facebook today. That's right. The official Facebook of Run It Up on Fuel TV. The now defunct TV network. But, hey, whatever. The Fuel TV will live on through Run It Up. Sure, why not? I guess we're going to just fold here. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Call? I guess. I mean, I doubt it. Folding and calling seems too light, even for me. Just hoping to hit 5, hoping that it checks through. That seems, we're be here just too often. Let's pull a Dear Jay Carver. I'm excited. It's been too long. I do have some cool Chell stories too I can share with you guys later as well. But yeah, I don't really have anything like a singular story, but it was just great. Like, I don't even think I told you guys some of the best parts about the trip. Like, when I met Chael was just so kind. It was unbelievable. He offered me like half his sandwich. They called it a Kenwich. It was a Kenny Florian designed sandwich with like ham and jalapenos and mayo. And none of these things do I eat, of course. He was like, "Are you hungry? Here's half my sandwich." And I was like, I can't say no to Chael-san and offering me half a sandwich, even if it is things I would never eat. So I scraped off most of it, and I ate the meat and the bread. That was fine. But Queen N10. That's a pretty good hand. But yeah, so Chael was so nice. We were like, he remembered my name the whole night. There was a moment we were on break, and Chael was like, "Do you need to use the restroom?" And he's like, "Do you even know where the restroom is? I can show you." Like, Chael is the one telling me this. It was unbelievably crazy. And for someone, there aren't too many people that I really like idolize in terms of like that I really respect for like how they've done with their career or how they've interacted with people, or for whatever reason there aren't too many people that I really admire like I admire Chael. And to have him be this like obscenely generous and kind and gracious, actually is a word I never use but is very appropriate here, to be this most gracious host. The most gracious host. I mean, he at the end of the night, he offered me a ride back to he's like, "Hey, where are you going? Are you headed this way?" He's like, "I'm headed up there if you want a ride." And I'm like, "No, I'm going to the airport, unfortunately, but thanks for the ride, Chael." Like, it was just like unbelievable. It was thanks for the offer. I mean, like, it was just crazy. I mean, so awesome. And all right, $1 into the pot. Okay, can't say no. $1, sure. But so this comes off now, the back-to-back events where, I don't even remember if I told you guys about the New Jersey launch where Dana, JWoww, Frankie Edgar, and I hung out and launched Ultimate Poker in New Jersey, which was also awesome, by the way. I feel like we didn't really talk about it because it happened in Thanksgiving week and there weren't like consistent videos that week. And I'll try to steal the spot here. $3. Let's try to see if we can do it. Come on. Let's see. I mean, there are so many good turn cards. We went on spades, probably. We went on, like, aces and kings. We win here very often right off the bat. This guy just posted. Come on. I felt so good about our chances there until this little thing. Come on. What's the story you're trying to tell me here? I mean, if we had Jack 10, I would never fold. I think I'm only folding. I'm not even sure I should be folding that hand, to be honest. But okay, you got it, El Guapo. I know he watches running up too. But you know, we did this event in Jersey with Dana and JWoww and everyone, and Dana just tweeted that he was going to Atlantic City, and 2 fans were in the lobby and just ran into him in the lobby. And they're like, "Oh my God, Dana White, it's great to see you. It's you know, we're big fans and whatever else." And Dana says, "It's great, you know, whatever." He's nice, and he invites them to come up to the suite with us where we're launching Ultimate Poker that night. These 2 guys never met Dana before, nothing, you know, just these 2 random guys. He invites them up to the suite, to our suite, and they hang out the whole night. These 2 guys were the most like quiet, laid back, like, you know, very solid, like 20-year-old, nice, polite kids to start. By the end of the night, you know, he's been drinking a little, and, you know, by the end of the night, everyone's like really relaxed, and Dana's, you know, playing blackjack, and the 2 kids next to him, Dana's like, "Motherfucker, I need a 10. And the 2 kids are like, "Come on, fucker." Like, it was just hilarious and great. But more importantly than the hilarious story is that, like, to me, to now interact with Dana White and Chael, who were both unbelievably kind to fans, you know, Chael to me and Dana to others, it was just like, man, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. Like, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. It reminded me a lot of how Daniel interacts with fans, not for nothing, who obviously I spent a lot of time with over the course of my life. And you know, so it's not like it was like brand new to me, but to see guys who were not just like, you know, not for nothing, but there's a big difference between Daniel and Dana. But to see guys like Dana and Chael do things like that, it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. And I took it as like a bit of a learning experience, I think. Yeah, I think it does count as a mutiny. But yeah, it was just really educational for me, and I learned a lot. And I really hope that I get to see Chael again a couple times. You know, I talked to him a lot about how he inspired me in the way that he was always really good but never great at fighting, and basically through self-promotion and being good on camera was able to turn himself into the 3rd biggest draw in the UFC. And I kind of feel like there's a very similar thing going on here. I'm just saying, you might not agree with me, but I think like I can see how that would make sense to me, you know, in my life. So we had some great conversations. He shared such awesome wisdoms, and Karen Bryant, who also works on the show. She's an MMA reporter. She also gave me such great little like advice and bits of wisdom and things. You know, she'd been to MTV and a couple other places before she hit MMA. So having her give me some advice was also great. And then Kenny also was amazing to talk to. You know, I didn't talk to him as much as I did the other 2, but he was great and hilarious and so down to earth. I mean, as soon as I got there, somebody's like, tell Kenny his hair looks good and don't look him in the eyes. And I was like, okay. And so when I met Kenny, I was like, hey, good to meet you. Hair looks great. And everyone just exploded in laughter. Like, you know, it's like one of those things. Everyone just, I don't know. Everyone just has that attitude, I guess. And it was just great. It was awesome. The crazy thing is, you know, I do everything here by myself, pretty much. As of these days, there's no one else really but me that runs the show. And to be a part of UFC Tonight's, where there are like, I don't know, 80 people that have something to do with the production. It's crazy to see how fast, you know, how different it is when you can scale up to that many people. Like, what would Run It Up look like if I had a 10-person staff? It would be crazy. It would be amazing. It would be unbelievable. We're working on it, you know? Every time somebody subscribes, we get one step closer to that being a true thing. It's true, people. Subscribe, please. That's the best thing you can do to help me is subscribe. It's true. So yeah, I'm sure I have some more good stories that will crop up. But let's read some Dear J. Carvers. I feel like they're long overdue. They've been crying for attention, and I've been neglecting them like a bad parent. I'm sorry, Dear J. Carvers. All right. Classic Dear J. Carvers, such as, "Stupid J. Carver, you're not my dad, moron." Thanks for your email. Thank you. Turn the gut shot. That's pretty cool. We're gonna bet or we're going to check. I don't know. I feel like we could have the best hand. We do have queen high. That's kind of neat. I think we do $8. Sometimes he gets better hands to fold. Sometimes he calls with worse. Sometimes we just drill the 7. Also an option. Don't think we should bet too much because he probably doesn't have much better than like an 8. So I don't want him to fold that. That would be unfortunate. 21 is probably right where he can comfortably call. Apparently not. Excellent read, Jay Carver. Excellent read. I don't know. 3? Let's try making it 2. I feel like we'll make it 2 under the gun. Why make it 2 under the gun? I don't know. Let's see what happens. Maybe wild and crazy things will come out of that. Or we'll just see a flop heads up. That's fine too. $3? Okay. I guess we're in check back mode at this point. I mean, we could still have the best hand with ace king. It is a thing that is possible, but does not seem too likely. Also, it does not seem too likely that he will fold on the turn. At this point, we have an option between checking and betting. There's no way that we can check here, though. There's nothing has happened to make me believe that he has a straight at this point. So I think we just bet, and if he check raises us huge, I think I believe him at this point, but happily going to get paid, I imagine, here. No reason to check back. Obviously, are we a little scared? We're a little scared, but we can't, don't be scared, homie. That's the advice I've always taken from the one and only Nick Diaz. Don't be scared. It's whatever. He hasn't done anything to indicate strength. Just the board itself looks kind of scary. But it seems much more likely that he has 1 pair than that he has 5 in a row. Do you understand? If he had 5 in a row, he'd put more aggression on, likely, at some point in the hand. And he didn't do that. He played his hand like he has 1 pair. And then what do we have? The best 1 pair. So we should bet. Huh? If I talked like that, I'd have 3 viewers. 3 viewers. If I was just like, every time. I don't think you guys would like it that much. I would hate it, that's for sure. I wouldn't watch. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. I'll go back to watching. Actually, I'm not even watching very much these days. All my shows that I like are not on TV right now. Alright. Discipline, run it up, fold. Very, very painful discipline, run it up, fold. 5-9 like puppy dog feet. Alright. Read me. Alright. I guess I'll read you. My question is about music. What do you like to listen to? At work, in the car, to relax, etc. I work in an opera. I've never seen an opera. You asked me if I saw an opera. No, I have not. Music, I'm very musically open. I love, lots of different music. Everything except for country music, if we're being honest. Everything else I can handle. I just posted yesterday on my Facebook, facebook.com/jcarverpoker. Yes, that's right. Oh, I'm whoring it up so badly today in my Facebook. But I was posting yesterday about how I was accidentally listening to the Nirvana Unplugged album, which, the performance of which was 20 years ago, 2 days ago, something like that exactly. And I happened to listen to that as I read an article that said it was the 20th anniversary and whatever else. And I was talking about that on my Facebook. I'm glad we're all, relatively, most of us at least share that, that at least we were like around in the 90s to listen to things like that at least. I'm just saying, at least I felt like we had a nice shared appreciation over us and the Running Up Warriors, Us Running Up Warriors. Dear Jay Carver, I wonder why your YouTube channel only has 10,000 subscribers, since the content is so good and it's filled with free poker strategy, mixed with your fun, witty insight. I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at how I read this. I didn't pre-read your email because it just said read me, so I just did what you told me to do. But everyone's going to think that I picked it because you're saying nice things. But I'm just reading it at this point because I'm committed. I'm email committed at this point. As a Texan resident, I'm reading it in way the wrong accent. I also wonder if Ultimate Poker will ever get here. I'm sorry, by the way, that's not really very Texan, or even tried to do so. There's a lot of Texan Run It Up fans, actually. I love the Texan Run It Up fans. I went to Dallas one time, and I was very impressed by your 12-lane mega highways. Beautiful thing to see. Everything definitely huge out there in Dallas, at least. I was there for MLG Dallas, actually, was why I was there. StarCraft, back in the StarCraft days. I know it would be hard, but so you're basically asking me to get Ultimate Poker in Texas. I would love to try. I think that's up to you, right? You're legislators. Tell them we want online poker. It's Texas fucking Hold'em. Let's play it in Texas. Duh. Am I right? I mean, come on. That just makes sense to me. That just makes sense to me. Dear Jay Carver. All right, you made me laugh because your last sentence, your last little 2 words. So your question is basically, does my boyfriend live with me in Vegas? It sounds like you're way too busy for a relationship. When do you have the time? Done prying now. I don't really usually like talking about it because, I have to talk about everything. What am I supposed to do? Talk about literally everything? I feel like I talk about enough that I leave that alone. But yeah, he is usually here. But we have a very, I focus entirely, my entire priorities right now are based on work, which is why if I didn't have a partner who understood that my priority by far is work right now, and it's just the truth. It wouldn't work out otherwise. So, it's obviously not exactly like a very normal relationship. It's very we're very independent almost entirely. We've got a very loose and tight sort of thing going on, but it's great. He's independent, I'm independent, and we're happy together. What more do you ask for in a relationship, right? I just don't have this week's been different because it's the week before Christmas, so everyone's kind of relaxed and no one's really asking me to do anything, which is great. So I've just been enjoying it, relaxing. These Run It Up shows, great. I'm fine with it now. At this point, I enjoy doing these. I look forward to casting. I'm all right, sorry everybody, no one can talk to me. I get to talk for an hour now, bitches. So that's 60% true at least. But as far as at least how I feel about the aggressive part of that, but yeah, we all do our own things and whatnot. It's just how it is these days, I suppose. So defended here with Jack 10 of puppy dog feet, and made ourselves a pair. That's what apparently I was saying. I think we should bet. I think $5 seems like a lot, but it's fine. Either he calls or he's not calling. Either he calls and I have the best hand, or are we checking back with the king? Is that the story we're trying to tell me? I'm not buying it just yet. Let's see a river card, dealer. Don't think that's helped you. Check. And we make a decision. Check. We must win. Surely. I don't know when the Italian cage blacksmith tailor voice started coming about, but I feel like it comes about without me even trying. I just naturally find myself going, we make a decision. Only I use the deeper version usually. That was Mickey Mouse Taylor apparently. Nah. For a poker question, no, definitely not. No, not in the mood for that. Dear the Sheriff. Definitely calling 610 of puppy dog feet. This isn't really a question, but I live in the Isle of Man and our national flag looks just like the Razor logo. I thought you should know. Thank you. What poker player would you fight for charity? Lots of them. I don't know what to tell you. You bring me a list. I was actually having a little talk with our good friend Dan O'Brien the other day, actually. There were some mumblings going about that he thought he would destroy me. We were coming to terms of this because it was annoying me at this point. So here's the latest. Are you ready, people? The latest between me and Dan O'Brien. The latest we were talking about was we were going to do 3 months of training for me, 2 weeks of training for Dan. He has to cut down to 178, weigh in at 178. I might even lower that a little bit more. He's 196 right now or something crazy, and I'm 155 right now, which is also crazy, but please hold the applause. The too busy to eat diet does wonders for you. So we were saying no elbows, no knees, basically straight up kickboxing, because Dan doesn't know how to wrestle. Dan's biggest weakness would be wrestling, I believe, but Dan's 2 knees are made of paper mache. And I don't really want to destroy Dan's knees, nor do I want to destroy Dan's face. So we cut out knees, elbows to the face, and basically straight up kickboxing as the rules of the fight. So we were toying around with that, but you know, his wrist hurts and he has other issues and stuff. So the excuses have begun, but he claims that he'd be up to do it and up to bet quite a lot of money. So we'll see if that actually happens. I'm not saying I'm going to crush him or even that I would necessarily win, but I feel like he thinks he's 100% to win, and he's just not. He's just not 100% to win. There's no way. I was in martial arts for 12 years. I'm not saying I was, you know, Cain Velasquez over here, but, you know, I was at least like the Karate Kid, you know? Dan has done nothing. Dan's never been hit in the face one time, as shocking as that is. I'm just saying. I think Dan's going to come in and try to be a gorilla, swing his big Irish hands like this 100 times, not even 100 before he gets tired. He'll swing like a dozen times, miss most of them, hopefully. And then that's it. I'll be Nick Diaz to his, I don't know, Tank Abbott. To his, you know, there are some big barely moving targets that I think Dan would most likely resemble. And I just feel like, you know, you can't let people say things like this, that he's 100% to win and not call him out on it and make a bet. That's the best thing about poker. You just say something that's insane, you go, bet. And if they can't bet, that's pretty much I surrender in my book. That's right. So our fellow Leprechaun has bet $4.50 over here. I think we actually just fold. We don't know our opponent. You bet into two people. We could have the best hand, of course, because we have ace high, so it's definitely possible. We could actually do something aggressive and check raise, but I'm going to give him a lot of credit and just fold. He's a Leprechaun. What's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, dear Jay Carver, how do you find the derivative of this equation? And then there's some letters and numbers, and the answer to that is no. Nope, you cannot. Nope. Nope. All right, let's pull another pile. I've mixed these around a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit. So you might get your. I feel like there are so many of these Dear J Carvers that have been waiting for the sunlight of the run it up. Oh, there's a little flop for us here against our run it up warrior. Gonna start with a check for opponent bets. We'll be raising quite a lot, in fact. I think $16 is probably a good size. Could even do a little larger than that, but I think 16 is probably fine. Okay, fold fast is all right with me. Huh? I think this is really old. 3 wishes. Oh, I guess it's not. I thought this was from the contest, but it isn't. Maybe it is. Maybe you're just way behind the UFC times. But I'm sorry you didn't win the trip to Vegas. But the 2 guys who did, our UK run-up warrior from Leeds, Stu, that's right, and John from Jersey. The 2 of us, we had 3 of us, had a great time. I managed to not lose $70,000 in sports betting while they were here. It was a great day. Could have been really bad. Could have been a bloodbath, boys. But it wasn't that bad all in all. Thanks, George St. Pierre, for pulling it out there in the first round for me. Appreciate that. I guess we just fold this here. Sure. Advice for underage players. Don't play underage. I mean, you know, I don't really... I feel like I need to talk to like an attorney about what I can and cannot say in these run-it-ups. I don't know if I'm doing anything, but instinctively speaking, you know, you should always listen to your parents and do what your parents say. And if not your parents, then the local sheriff should be the one that tells you what to do. But if you're looking to play some online poker, well, online poker you shouldn't play until you're of age in your jurisdiction, wherever that may be. Live poker, though, I actually think playing live poker at a young age is probably fine, especially you play it for low stakes. I think it's actually great. You learn critical thinking, lots of math stuff. You know, it's a good way to be social, and I don't think the game of poker, playing that in person, I think that's totally fine, and I encourage that. Read all the books you want. There's plenty of for free sites you can play on, you know, or for play money. Not that those are the same as real money, obviously, but there are plenty of ways you can learn and improve and try to get better and get more experience until you are of legal age to play if you are not yet. You know, or just play with your friends. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with playing for $5 with your friends or whatever it is. That's how we all started. That's how I started. In case you didn't see yesterday's video, I continued with the Life and Times series, the story of how I got started in poker back in 2004 originally. And we were talking yesterday about some of the more difficult times in that early couple of years. And I really appreciate all you guys that watched that and posted some of your very supportive and kind comments. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad, especially because, you know, I had made that video once before and pulled it because I didn't like how it came off. So it meant a lot that those of you that watched it and posted something supportive. I really appreciate that. You know, I've obviously been fine for many years, and you know, we can talk about nice little flop here for us. Could actually consider trying to do something different, like betting or something, but we never play long enough sessions where I feel like we have any reason to develop any kind of like leading sort of dynamic. But yeah, I appreciate that for sure. And you know, I have been mostly completely healthy for the last 7 years or so. So you know, it's not like I was sick for too long or anything like that. I suppose we'll start with a call. King of Spades is not the worst nor the best turn card for us. I think we're going to start with a check. If our opponent bets, we call. Would be probably happiest to see him bet here. The king might be a card that he would like to try to bluff at, which would be obviously fine with me. If he has a hand like 5-7 and is drawing stone dead, I am happy to see him bluff at a king. Could have a speed here, but I'm not convinced of that just yet. Going to start here with a check as well and make a decision as to what he, after we see what he does. So he bets here. So we do have some options in aggression. That is definitely on the table. But I actually think our hand is good enough here. We can probably just call. He can bet 2 pair. He can bet maybe as good as aces. But, you know, if he has a hand like Jack-9, I don't know if he bets it here. So I think we beat all the other draws often enough that we should show a profit with calling here. So we were drawing dead to a spade on the river, but I think he has enough 10-9s, Queen-10s, you know, random Ace-10s, other like random things that that might try to bluff on a club river that looks kind of scary. He did size it to a way that made me feel like he probably wasn't bluffing, but we're getting a pretty good price. We have a pretty good hand, and we're going to fold there a pretty decent amount of the time. So I think that calling that one time seems okay. Remember, we are in for $160 here. So, yeah, what were we talking about? Yeah, I think that was pretty much that. Oh, yeah, I don't think I mentioned it before entirely, but I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 of these late night poker labs a week. So if you've got some hands that are interesting or challenging, or you want some sort of insight on whether or not you played them or not, put them aside. And if you're around for one of our late night poker labs, which I'll be running from like 12 to 4, somewhere in that range, they'll just pop up. Sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little bit later. But I like the idea, late night poker lab for the true late night run of warrior. You know, that's hanging out. Or if you're in the UK, it's just like mid morning. Time for your mid morning poker lab. Oh my god, that was awful. I don't know what accent that even was. I wasn't trying to do a UK accent, but I kind of sort of was, and then it just fell apart. Regardless, you know, the mid morning poker lab doesn't sound quite as good as the late night poker lab. As you can hear, it did not sound as good. But there will be, you know, it'll be late night poker lab for me, that's for sure. That's when I have the most time to do those sorts of like stop and chats. Dear Jay Carver, would you ever consider making a video with Daniel Negreanu? Sure, I would, but I don't know if they'd let him. They're, you know, you know, Ultimate Poker and Poker Stars don't always get along. I thought running up would be neutral ground. Maybe we could, you know, make some peace treaties here and everyone would just get along and we could have everybody here, but I'm not sure if that's me being naive or not, but I would love to have him here if he wanted to come on the show. But I don't think that's particularly likely, is my guess. Dear Jay Carver, I was wondering how your game at these low stakes on Ultimate Poker compares to your mentality at high stakes live poker, aka aggressiveness, calmness, etc. Sincerely, Matt from Maryland. And you want to buy both the poster? Don't worry, I'm getting the posters. They've been delayed slightly, but I'm getting them. I'm also trying to get the nicest ones you can get. I could probably get crappier versions that were a lot cheaper for you guys, like a lot cheaper. But I don't know. I kind of like the super nice like photo printer laminated ones, but maybe that's a mistake. But whatever. But very soon is the answer to your question. I'll have a lot more of those to give away and sell to you guys for whatever it is that it costs me to put them together. So, your question was how my game and perspective changes. I think it's actually very similar. Some people have accused me of playing differently because it's running up money or because I'm playing online, or, you know, people, if you look at the comments in like the first like 20 videos particularly, people are like, oh, he would never play like this. Like, take this seriously. Like, it's just a complete joke. It's exactly how I would play 100K. Your people are, you know, they just don't understand that, like, that's exactly like how it is. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to make different adaptations playing in 100K than playing in a, you guys like the little, it's tweaking. I'm sharpening a little bit. I'm adjusting, you know. It's adjusting, yeah. So I think that, and obviously I'm making different adjustments, taking different strategies, different tactics, but for the most part, my thought process is the same. You know, my thought process pretty much remains as is, I would say. So I don't really think, as far as like calmness and stuff goes, yeah, I don't really tilt. I mean, like I was talking actually before with Dan, and he and I were talking about how what the number would be before I started being happy for a win. And I was like, we probably thought about it a lot, and I was like, I think it's like 33,000 for me. Like if I win 31,000, I'm like, okay, that was nice. And then if I win 34,000, I'm like, nice. Like for some reason, there's like a barrier in there for like happiness. And for losing though, like, man, I don't even know. It would take quite a lot. It would take quite a big loss for me to be like, shit. It'd take quite a big loss. But you know, which is good. I think it makes you immune and hardened. That's right. The double Legion shield is what I did there. You know, I think anytime now. You know, I've obviously been hardened from years of high stakes poker. You know, what are you going to do to me I haven't seen already 100 times? You know, probably nothing too, you know, it's pretty hard to get under my skin, I think, is in short. Dear J. Carver, first of all, thank you for all the great, I just want to bet. Just check, Burger King guy. Come on. Just check. Let me bet. $4. Now you can go back to tanking. Dear J. Carver, first of all, thank you for all the great videos you put out. They've helped my game and have given me tons of lols. You're welcome. When you finally do run it up to $10,000, do you have any plans on a Run It Up Season 2 where you do it all again? Keep drilling it, bitch. Casey from Long Island. Thanks, Casey. I wonder where you're from in Long Island. All right, one more orbit for the fans. Can't say no. One more orbit. That's right. We'll do an extended Run It Up today. We're winning, feeling good, answering some Dear J. Carvers, making very tight folds. Okay. So your question was, what are my plans? I don't really know. I'm probably planning on still doing videos. That's definitely happening. It's funny because when we started doing YouTube videos months ago, I wanted to do more videos like the Final Table and less videos like a talk show. But at this point, I've found that it requires, you know, obviously substantially less people and asking of other people for me to do Run It Up than for me to go out and shoot like a project where we explore, you know, the mountains of, you know, I don't know, Peru. Like, that's what I picked. I picked Peru. That's right. I've heard they have very nice mountains down in Peru. Okay. So I you know, as nice as that would be, that's very expensive and doesn't feel like people, you know, I don't think like those sorts of videos are like particularly wanted that much greater than, if even greater at all, than Run It Up these days. I'm going to try to bluff here. Obviously, it doesn't work all the time, but I thought it worked often enough, you know. Very rare we show up with hands worse than 9-7 there, so thought we could get away with it. And that's right. We did it. That's right. That's right, bitch. Right in the eye. Ow! Apparently. You know, that's what I went with. Oh, we got a cat avatar here. I didn't even notice. I don't think he's even played a hand, has he? Not with us. Bet. That's right. That's right, friends. If you guessed that I was going to bet on a flop, you win. We got a 3 straight flush. Doesn't matter what he does. We're not folding, bitches. More outs. Great turn card for us. If he has a hand like a 7, he'll have some pressure coming his way because Queen is a scary card. So we're betting once and then twice, and then making a decision as to not we bet 3 times. That is a very interesting river card that might actually end up costing us. Interesting. So, so do we win this often enough to call? We beat 7s and 6s and no pair hands. Not too many no pair hands he can show up with here. And 7s and 6s, you know, he could definitely be bluffing, but I don't know if he's bluffing often enough for us to call profitably there. Like, you know, 9 was obviously improved us, but it's the worst card in the deck for us. That does improve us. Jack speed at 10s, you know, obviously straight cards give us nuts, which would be, or close enough to it. So, okay, 2. So it was an okay card, but not a great card, obviously. And I think folding is probably the right play. Like I've said in earlier videos, if I ever just think that folding is the right play, with my general perspective on things, if I'm ever leaning towards folding, it probably means folding is the right thing to do. So certainly not folding here, though. King and 8 of spades. How do we fold? Great price. $3, not even? A nickel back? You got it, kid. Oh, look at that flop. That is a beautiful flop. That is exactly the kind of flop that we can put a cat in a cage in for. I check, he bets, so we raise. If it goes check, check, we make a decision based on what the turn card is. That's right. Coming up next on Fuel TV, the turn card. Stay tuned. Run it up. That would be brutal and disgusting if that's what we did here. Check and raise. If he's all in, run the cards, dealer. What can you do? Give me a king or maybe an 8 if he has ace king or king jack. King jack would be sad. Ace king would be sad too, but less sad. Alright. Get out of here trying to re-raise us. I'm not going to use the bink bell on you, but, you know, I was seriously considering it. If we had less of a hand or had one bigger of a pot, oh yeah, for sure. I'm itching to pull the trigger. But did not. Alright. Dear J. Carver. In a 9-max or 6-max game, is there a general rule on how to play your cards, aka tighter or looser? Yep, you should play tighter in a 9-max game because 9-max has more people to beat. Makes sense. More people to beat. Ooh. More people to beat, harder it is to win, etc. Dear J. Carver, when do you think you'll be doing fun activities for the viewers who are on the younger side, say 17 and up? We are here too. Smiley face. Thanks from Chicago. Syro. Pronounce it right, I dare you, smiley face. S-Y-R-O. How isn't that Syro? I mean, it could be Ciro, I guess, but I think it's Syro. You know, that's my guess. I don't know. I feel like that is a thing we could be doing, but I think, you know, if you want to play League of Legends is a good thing we can do. 18 and up, that'll be cool things. 18 and up for sure. 17 and up, you know, I don't know. I don't really, you know, it's hard to target 17 and up. I can target 18 and up, you know, but I don't know. It depends. I don't know if again, I need to talk to the run-it-up attorney. I need to find out if I'm doing something terrible or not here. I don't know. I'm just trying to live, but maybe I'm not. I really don't know. All right, one more. Dear J. Carver. Dear J. Carver, I no longer watch regular TV. Your Run-It Up series is one of the few things I watch. Thank you, I appreciate that. So my must-see TV question is, if Run-It Up became a TV series, who would play J. Carver? Cheers, Joe C. You remember the guy, what was this guy's name? He was in, it's like Rappaport, Michael Rappaport. Is that his name? I don't know for sure. I could be butchering his name or his spelling or... Yeah, Rappaport. Could be him. You should Google him if you... All right, I'll even give you a picture. I think that's... I mean, I'm obviously a little bit less redheaded than this guy, but I think maybe he's too old these days. How do you guys feel about that? There we go. I could be me. I can see it. I can see it. You know, it could be Eminem. I don't know. It could be so many choices. I don't even know. The world is our oyster, as always, here on Fuel TV. That's right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's run-up number 81. I had a good time today. Hopefully you did as well. We ran it up. What did we win? We win $46.13, giving us a bankroll of, let's just pull up a calculator so everybody's on the same page here. 1723.85 plus we won an extra 46.13, 206.13. We were in for 160. 1769.98. We're on a little bit of a repair roll at least. So I'll be back with more. Tomorrow will be the interview with King Dan. It was a lot of fun, actually. I had a great time. Best one yet, I think. Our best run-it-up hangout so far. So stay tuned for that. That's coming tomorrow. Might do a stream also because I have the day off from casting. So maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow. That could be fun. And yeah, so don't forget, Facebook.com/JCarverPoker. That's the hub for all things drawing up on the internet. You can go follow me over there. Twitch.tv/JCarverPoker is where I'll be streaming. Yep. And if you haven't already, please subscribe here. It's the best thing you can do to support me. Become a run-it-up warrior. You know, we do videos 5 days a week here, and it costs you nothing. Just having to listen to my nonsense for an hour. As many times as you'd like. Anyway, thanks so much for watching as always, guys. I really do appreciate it. I will see you back for more very soon. Peace.